for the first time
It's just a year today.
since she died.
That's her.
Barry Gibbs
1 year since he went away.
is hearing his wife's voice.
Happy birthday, dear heartache. Oh, love still burns tonight.
But to see why this single song strikes such a chord,
It hurts
rewind.
because it was close to a year ago. She said her chest was hurt.
48-year-old Portia Gibbs needed an emergency room. There was a hospital not far down the road in Belhaven, North Carolina. But
Oh, it hurt.
pain knowing that place
It hurt.
stopped letting people in 6 days earlier.
The hospital was right there within 30 minutes from where we were.
The only option? Wait in this school parking lot with an ambulance for a medical helicopter to come. It would have to fly her to the nearest hospital 80 miles away.
We sat there and sat there and sat there
Barry says minutes turned into an hour,
and waited and waited and waited.
which turned into the end for Portia.
When the helicopter started coming in for the landing, I could see it in the air. The guy come out and said, "That's it. We can't do no more. She's gone."
Not only do you have your children, your elderly, your mothers, your dads, your friends die needlessly at times, but you also have an economic impact that is severe.
Belhaven's mayor, Adam O'Neill, says the town loses $17 million a year from the hospital's closure. It was, after all, the #1 employer here.
So your restaurants struggle, your stores struggle, and you also have a situation where the retirees don't move in anymore.
Look around the main drag. Land sits unrented, City Hall's in crisis, and the police station is a mobile home. The old one flooded. Belhaven can't afford repairs.
It's like a nuclear bomb going off financially in your town.
I certainly drive through rural areas all the time. I would like a hospital there as well.
UNC Chapel Hill's Mark Holmes says even city folk need to care. His research shows 54 rural hospitals have closed nationwide since 2010, a growing trend with hundreds more at risk.
A lot of these places are just struggling financially. They have been for a long time.
A 48-year-old mother of two who spent the last hour of her life in the back of an ambulance in a high school parking lot.
Back in Belhaven,
That's what happens. That's real.
they're not standing by. The mayor's marching from North Carolina to D.C. twice now, gaining national attention.
And don't run yourself out of gas. This is a long.
So long, it could take years to find ways to keep rural hospitals open. But Barry won't quit either, with Portia's ashes out front in their cypress trees, and that voice in his head.
Happy birthday, dear heartache.
Urging him to keep spreading the message.
As bad as it is, hopefully somebody will listen.
It is nice out here. I just love it.
One reason swayed the Haynes to move on to Woodley Lake in Greensboro.
It is so peaceful.
To keep it peaceful living next to a dam, lawmakers passed this requirement that every dam owner submit an emergency action plan to the state. The plan is supposed to include guides for maintaining the dam to prevent problems, a map of who could be impacted if the dam broke, and the plan for warning people in the danger zone if the dam fails.
Oh, that would be very important because we have grandchildren and it may happen at night.
The law said those plans were due at the end of last year, but 2 Wants to Know poured through state records, finding months after the deadline, about half of the dams failed to put an emergency plan in place. We're talking 158 dams across the Triad alone breaking the law, including where the Haynes live. All of these dams are high risk, meaning it could kill someone if something went wrong, particularly when there's no emergency action plan, according to the Association of State Dam Safety Officials.
You don't have that plan in place. People don't know what to do downstream, especially if there are many homes or businesses or something downstream. If you don't have a coordinated effort and emergency officials don't know how to respond and people don't know what to do in that situation, then, it's unfortunately going to lead to loss of life.
It's not just people living next to a dam who should be concerned. Look at this map of how far flooding from an average dam can reach. Blocks full of schools, apartments, and faraway houses of people like Marvin Flight.
Well, now you bring it to my attention, kind of concerns me a little bit.
The North Carolina Department of Environment and Natural Resources has sent 2 letters out to dam owners saying the emergency plans are due, but they're not sure they ever got them because they weren't sent as certified mail.
Some of them we know are in the works. We've heard from the owners, and they've notified us, we've gotten this, we know we're late, however, we're working on it.
How long do you cut these people a break?
Well, it will go until we reach the point where we'll have to verify notification.
So a year?
What we would end up having to do is send certified mail.
Any idea when you might send those?
We haven't determined that as of yet.
Right now, the state staff is reviewing the plans that have been submitted. And they'll wait until that's done before possibly slapping a $500 per day fine on owners without a plan, giving more time for dam owners with technical questions.
There's a series of lakes.
Like the Grandview Lake Homeowners Association in Pufftown.
It's more technical than I am or any of my neighbors that are also part of this association. So, we can do the research, we can find out, but it just takes a lot of time.
We'd rather be right than fast.
So bottom line, when do you hope to have all these plans in?
Bottom line, I'm hoping to have them all in before the end of the year.
Swinging back to the nice people by the lake, the Haynes don't want to get into the weeds of why the plans aren't done. They just want one turned in soon.
I would like to know about the plan now because that is important.
The group that owns the dam where the Haynes live say they are working on their plan too, and Julie, they hope to have it in very soon.
So what is being done to keep people safe in the meantime?
Well, the state does do annual inspections of every high-risk dam, so it's not like these are totally unsecure, but right now North Carolina is one of only 6 states where every high-risk dam does not have an emergency action plan.
It does seem like there's a new craft brewery opening up on a street corner all the time, and that industry is bringing in billions.
But industry folks say they could help North Carolina even more if the state lowered the excise tax on beer. You see, for every pallet of beer they send out, it's about $200 the brewer has to pay in taxes. And each brewery sends out thousands of these pallets.
2 Wants to Know's Ben Briscoe looks at how a tool to bring money into the state could actually be costing North Carolina.
So you gotta prime your pump.
Trying to brew up a new life for himself, Matt Lilly was sick of working in a bowling alley. So he enrolled in Rockingham Community College's beer-making major.
Hopefully I'll be doing something that I'm very passionate about rather than a job.
Matt's not alone. The latest estimates from the Beer Institute say more than 26,000 now work in beer-related jobs in North Carolina, pouring $3.8 billion into our state's economy. Before you toast to those figures, the NC Craft Brewers Guild says there's a lot more untapped potential out there if the state lowers its 62 cents per gallon excise tax.
You might say, okay, well, you guys are doing fine paying that high excise tax rate, so what's the problem? And my response would be, think of how much better we could be doing. Guild President Eric Larsmeyer says the high tax puts many new brewers over a barrel, scaring them from opening up or expanding. For example, just on this pallet of beer behind him, that's $200 in taxes the company will pay.
And sure, that doesn't look like a lot, but we sent out 10 pallets of that, a couple days ago, and we do that every single week. Over the course of the year, we're paying tens of thousands of dollars in excise tax, and we're a very small brewery.
North Carolina's beer excise tax of 62 cents per gallon is 3 times as high as the national average of 20 cents. Take a look at the map. The Brewers Association says the 4 states where beer has the biggest economic impact all have much lower taxes than North Carolina. Oregon, Colorado, Pennsylvania, and Vermont. 3 of those states only charge 8 cents per gallon tax. The association cautions that a lot of factors go into making beer profitable. But
creating a regulatory environment where these brewers can grow and thrive is certainly something that benefits local and state economies.
the beer tax on North Carolina, $115 million last year. Sounds huge. It's really less than 0.5% of the total state budget.
You know, it's not that much money in the overall grand scheme of a lower excise tax rate will equal more jobs. It's not even a question. It will absolutely happen.
2 Wants to Know took our findings to State Representative Pricey Harrison. She plans to research lowering the tax to help the craft brewing industry.
It's just been a tremendous asset to North Carolina's economy, and I think we ought to do what we can to attract it.
Ben Briscoe, 2 Wants to Know.
Food for thought. Now, I want you to take a look at this Brady Bunch looking thing here with Ben everywhere. All those videos are showing Ben calling a different lawmaker who voted to raise the beer tax in 2009. Ben wanted to simply find out why it's so much higher than the rest of the nation. So far, not one of those lawmakers have called Ben back.